to the big camera.
Welcome to the Renaissance Fair at the Castle of Muskogee, Oklahoma. Tonight we're going to take you back in time to merry old England. It's 1509 and King Henry VIII is in power.
If something attached to your face, we can have this surgically removed if you like. Come to the fair and lift up your cares.
As you can see, we'll be meeting a lot of interesting characters. So all of you noblemen and fair maidens, join us for a little Renaissance revelry on this episode of Expressions. Our first guest today is Jeff Hiller, who is the steward of the castle. Jeff, thank you for being on the program.
Certainly, my pleasure.
And you're going to give us a grand tour here of the premises by carriage, right?
Absolutely.
Well, can we go?
If you might, my lady.
Okay, thank you. Jeff, this is wonderful. Now tell me, how did all this get started?
It's actually years ago I went to a Renaissance fair in California and had such a grand time. I thought that this would be a good thing to do here.
Oh, it's wonderful. And why Muskogee?
It's where I live.
Oh, okay. Convenient.
Yes. Yes, that's it all.
This is really, now tell us, what are we seeing right now?
Oh, you're seeing crafters and food vendors. They come in from everywhere, California, Florida, and Oregon, just anywhere you can think of, Alberta. And they come to show their arts and crafts, make them available for sale. They're all handmade.
Oh, wow. Are they throwing hammers over there?
Axes, knives, and stars. This is for training. Yep.
Okay, what is this right here? Looks like a jail.
Yeah, that's where they lock the people up and make them sing for their release. They try to bribe their way out, but
and what if
oftentimes
they can't
won't
carry
accept it. Then they have some problem, I do believe.
Okay, and over here?
Petting zoo.
Oh,
This is, again, my forte is children, and so we try to provide as many things as we can that make it fun and interesting.
Oh, what is this?
This is the Tortuga Twins. This is one of our stages. This is one of 8 stages that are going on pretty much all the time, plus the jousting list, plus the village green. And then there's wandering musicians everywhere. You just, it's just a variety of
entertainment.
In each entertainment, yes. Yeah, the idea is to step back in time 500 years almost and just enjoy yourself.
Well, I notice even in conversation, just regular conversation, asking for directions, they have the accent.
Oh, yes.
They have everything going.
Oh yes, they go to class for quite a while for this. The month of April is spent in class.
Well, I think you have to go to class to understand it too. I had to ask for directions 3 times.
All right. Yes.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Oh, I'm glad you liked it.
Now, Jeff, where are we going now?
Well, we'll go inside the castle, see what's going there.
Okay.
Not sure, and then we'll meet some more of these people.
Great, let's go.
Yeah. We're entering the Great Hall now, and
Are these belly dancers?
these are belly dancers.
They had belly dancers back then?
Absolutely, for 2,000 years. This is Shadia, and she will be teaching belly dancing actually here at the castle on Monday nights.
Okay, which one is Shadia?
Shadia is the one on the left.
Okay, all the way down, all right.
Yeah. The reason there's no crowd here is because they're actually just doing this
For us.
For us, yes.
Okay.
Special for us. Thank you much, Shadia. We're doing a sword fighting demonstration from the Adrian Empire.
Look at this. Okay, they're just starting off. Oh.
They're doing live steel for points here to show how it is actually done. Now they are protected well with padding and chainmail, and of course they keep the tips covered.
Right, I see the covers on the end, so they'll really hurt someone, right?
Right.
Now this is a big room. Do you have other events that
Yeah,
take
we do a
place
lot
here?
of weddings, we do proms, just a variety of anything you can think of, a lot of company parties. The castle really, we rent it out when we're not doing Renaissance fairs and haunted castles and Dickens Christmas and the other things that we do.
Now, what a unique place to have a prom or anything.
People seem to really enjoy it.
Keep your mind stepped up the side.
All right.
Okay, Jeff, this is the pub, obviously.
Yes, this is our Black Boar pub, and we have entertainers, just strolling musicians more than anything in here. And,
I see lots of children's stuff. This
yeah,
is for adults.
this is more the adults.
Around the
Yeah,
corner.
true what you'd call it a Renaissance.
And he told me I
I
had
love
brought
this.
the
Look at
law.
this.
And the donkey kicked him in the kneecap. And he fell down and broke his Fred and Mary, her and I are soon to Edward Siegfried. We're born in the night flying Mary. He went off to fetch his brother, the biggest man you ever did. He tapped me gently with his knuckles, and I was Midas to blunt
All the evenings here can be grand.
Oh, I
And these
bet.
guys just sit around and start playing, and we have a few beers, and
sit there
they
and
entertain
try not
each
to
other.
laugh too much.
That could be some of the wonderful things. Yeah, this is where we research surnames so that you can have, if you happen to know your name, we can find out your history about it.
Oh, that's
And
great.
I think,
Very
let me see,
interesting.
Robbins, right?
Right.
Every one of these colors and symbols stands for something.
Oh, neat.
This particular is a chevron. That is that's the way in heraldry they showed a war saddle. This particular family did a lot of battle, and in this this represented that they did do lots of battle. The color of this means something, and that's a gold, and it stood for elevation of mind. The particular family was thinkers. The blue stood for truth and loyalty. And sitting on top of this helmet is that's actually a raven, which stood for sincerity and peace.
Thank you so much.
Enjoyed you coming by. Thank you.
This is wonderful. How interesting. Welcome back, and guess where we are? The Mask Maker. And here to show us how to make these masks, and the one that makes these beautiful masks is Vincent. How are you, Vincent?
I'm fine, thanks.
Good. What are you making here?
This is our Timberwolf. It's one of the best sellers for our masculine audience, so that's what I'm making now.
Now tell me, what is so important about the masks in this day and age?
Well,
Not now, but then.
in the Renaissance times, they had two functions. One is there's something to liven up your wardrobe, okay? And that's
Right.
basically what people were looking for, something to just dress them up a little bit.
Right.
Now, the other thing a lot of people are interested in is just hiding their identities, because with heavy involvement of the church back then, a lot of people liked to be festive without being known who they were, so they would wear the masks, hide their identity, and the mouths, you notice, on all the masks remain open, so that way they can wear the mask and still eat and drink without taking it off.
Mary, you are the vendor coordinator, but before we start talking about the booths and looking at everything, tell me a little bit about the costumes.
Well, here you have a very good example of many classes, starting with the upper class, of course. The lady that is now dancing and curtsying would be of an upper class nobility stature. You have His Majesty King Henry, dressed in the wonderful garb with his crown, and you have his queen who is dancing just a little farther down the line. Then you have your peasant wear, the lady to the left that is dressed in the colors, the earth tones and the jewel tone colors are the very basic class. The more you were up in rank, the more you would wear, because the only way you could show your stature or your status in life was with your clothing and your appearance.
And your appearance, well, how are you dressed? Are you middle class?
I would be a upper class, merchant level lady. I would probably be married to a man who was not of nobility, but was very well off and would have some land or business of his own.
Mary, we've been discussing what people wear, and I guess what people wear would apply to their feet also, wouldn't it?
Yes. If you were of royal stature, you would have been able to afford shoes. And as I said with the clothing and sumptuary laws, shoes were no different. The shoes that you see here with the points on them, again, when they would have the points, people would try to show that their stature was of a higher level, and the points would get longer and longer and longer till they actually had to pull them up and tie them on their knees. Then after that they would curl the points. The boots with the lacings that you see up here on the shoe shop would be to tighten down around the legs. These are period-looking shoes and have been made to be period. The sign that our good mistress shoemaker has on her shop here is pretty typical of the Renaissance time period. Most people were not well educated and could not read, and the shoe would tell anyone coming by with the door closed or product not outside the shop that this is a shoe shop. They could stop here and purchase shoes. These are the village hair weavers. And the hair weavers, as you can see, are doing something that is, we call it braiding in this day and age. In the time period of the Renaissance, it was considered as plaiting the hair. Plaiting the hair. And what they would do is, if you were a maiden, you could wear your hair down and free for everyone to see. But once you were married, your hair would be put up and you would wear a hat all of the time, because your hair, of course, was only for your husband to see.
Oh.
And also from a practical point of view, with a woman working around the fire or in the fields, as a lot of the poor women, lower class society would, it was a way of keeping the hair out of the face, as well as for bathing was not readily available to a lot of the classes. And it was a way of keeping the hair back and keeping it under control.
It was just easier.
Absolutely, yes.
Now we're going to meet Tom, who is a whitesmith. Tom, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And you've been doing this for 24 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, tell me, what is a whitesmith?
A whitesmith is a person who works with white metals, pewter, and other alloys that were used for mostly common eating ware and drinking ware.
Okay, as opposed to a blacksmith, right?
Blacksmith who works with iron, and a redsmith who works with copper or brass.
Great.
Or a silversmith who's specifically silver.
Your appearance here, we've seen a lot of men in kilts today.
Yeah, well, kilts are very popular.
Is that comfortable?
It's very. It's actually kind of nice.
And what about the pouch?
The pouch is called a sporran.
Okay.
A sporran is a pouch where you carry most of the things that you had. In fact, one of my wares here is what we call a porringer. It's a traditional bowl.
Ooh.
It's made out of pewter.
How beautiful.
It was used as a bowl, a cup, as well as your spoon. It was your only eating gear that you would have if you were out in the field.
This was a spoon?
Yes, it's your one dish. You'd pick up anything you wanted to, usually out of a communal soup pot.
Wow. So they weren't worried about different diseases then, were they?
Well, they were a lot harder, I think.
Yeah. That is great. Now, how do you make one of these?
There's several steps that take place in this, and what I have here is a press.
Okay.
And we start with a disc of pewter, and this press, we just use a big screw.
So it just smashes it, right?
It basically compresses it into that shape. And small shapes that are very wide and fairly shallow were very easily and simply pressed. Whereas deeper and more complex shapes, such as a goblet or tankard, or a plate that needed to have the edge turned on it to support the weight of the food, were much more difficult. How's that coming down there? Looks like we're about all the way down. Then, by releasing this,
and that did it right there?
That's it right there.
Wow.
The whole thing was being able to figure out how to engineer and make one of these, which is a very simple apparatus. But actually the most important thing is having a good, consistent thickness and the right diameter metal to start with.
What other examples do you have for us?
Well, down in the Gypsy encampment, we have a wagon that has many different things that we've made on out of different pewter, including the cups and goblets and whiskey flasks.
Great. Well, can we take a look at that?
Sure. Why don't you go down there? My wife Patricia is down there, and I think she'd be glad to show you that.
Great. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now we're with Pat, who is Faria of the Gypsies, is that right?
That is correct, my lady. I am Faria of the Gypsies.
And that it goes along with your garb here, right?
This is how the Gypsies would wear. You see, I have taken these fabrics from many places that I have stopped on my travels, and borrowed them. Yes, I have liberated the fabrics and then sewn them together into these many colors. The Gypsies we are known for our colorful wear.
Now, what do you have here? These are beautiful.
These are the pewter things. One of the things that we do as Gypsies, my Lord husband and I, we are tinkers. So we work with the metal, and we make the pieces which start as the flat discs, and then are pressed into shape with the screw press, and then they are soldered very finely. And this is all done by hand. And these pieces are all hand cast and then added on.
This is gorgeous.
I thank thee. This piece actually was not pressed on the press as you saw. This is done on the lathe. And we have a lathe that is a very large, mayhap 8 feet, wheel. And it is turned by hand and comes down on with a rope to a small wheel that is about 6 inches. And from the differential between the 8 foot and the 6 inches, the rope turns the mandrel at about 1,500 repetitions per minute. And it is fast enough to take the metal and you press it against the wood, and the wood has this shape, and you press the metal against the wood and form it into these shapes. And so these kinds of cups are spun.
Well, you have a beautiful, beautiful setup here.
Gramercy, mistress.
Thank you for showing us the Gypsy way.
It is our pleasure.
We're with Ron, who is the jester, and you're also in charge of all of the events here, is that right?
Yes, I get to have the incredible job of looking around and seeing, you would be good at our fair, you would be good at our fair, and you would be good at our fair, and then bringing them here to entertain, as it were.
Well, tell us about all the events here.
Oh, we have billions of things that you probably have never even seen. We have the wonderful duelists who are over there to that direction. They fight for their good crowd. They sing. They live vicariously. It is a wonderful thing. And there are other people. We have an interesting juggling troupe that do step on boards of nails, as it were, and spit fire. There are also people who, as our good Merlin, who does magicians, as it were. Do not ask him to whiz. Anyway, there are thousands of things that you have probably never even seen, foods that you have never tasted, and as we can see behind us, our good Maypole is dancing.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it is a wonderful dance, a dance of revelry, a dance of summer, done only in May, as it were.
I don't understand the strings. Are they untying?
Think of it this way. Think on the time period. It would be the beginning of summer, the opening up, as it were. And as you notice, as they dance around, the pole, as it were, does open and spring forth, much like a flower blooming in spring.
Okay. Well, Ron, thank you so much for telling us all about the Maypole.
Oh, no, thank you. I am happy that you could be here this day and see all the different things that we have in this good Castleton.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we're going to learn about the jousting, which is probably the most spectacular event here. Hi, how are you?
Very fine, how are you?
Well, I'm fine.
Hello there, hello there.
Hi, here to tell us about it is Brian Beard.
Hi.
Brian, thank you for having us.
Well, thank you for coming by to visit us.
Now, what exactly are you called? A jouster? Is that the correct?
Jouster would be the modern professional term, yes ma'am. A modern day knight. We travel the country. As a matter of fact, we've even been over to China and jousted over there.
Really?
These are some of our
look.
horses right here. We're based out of Oklahoma City right now, Noble Cause Productions.
Hi,
and,
sweetheart.
This is Brava. She's been jousting now for about 3 years.
Gorgeous.
She's a quarter horse.
She
Very
is
friendly.
Gorgeous.
She's our little tank. Good,
it's
solid
Brava?
horse. Brava.
What does Brava mean?
Brava means crazy woman. This is Argus. He's a thoroughbred, and he's an excellent jousting horse. He's been jousting since 1988. Very good horse. And this is my baby right here.
Beautiful white horse.
Not the guy in the yellow, but the horse. This is Shadow. This is my horse, and she has a little baby of her own, 6 months at home.
Oh.
Right. She's working her weight back up right now. She has a little baby named Echo. These right here are the saddles we ride in, and actually these are Civil War McClellan saddles. Most people don't know what they look like. They're nice. They're very easy on the horse. You can see how it's cut out right here. It's bare minimum on the horse. Again, for the horse's comfort comes first. These are some of the swords and different weapons we use. This right here is Daniel's favorite weapon. It's called the Spartax.
Oh.
He's killed me with that plenty of times. You can see that right there. The nice thing is we always get up at the end of the day. There's some of the legs that we use. These are my own personal legs, and they've been used for a long, long time now. You see the articulation makes it nice and easy to bend.
Right.
This is called a mantle, and you'd tie all the favors that a lady gives you, tie those on the back of the helm, show your wins in a competition.
Quite a few ladies there.
Actually, all these are from one lady. This is my helm, and you can feel the weight on that.
Oh, golly.
And this right here is Daniel's helm. He's got a different style here, rounded off, and then he's got no nasal piece right here.
Looks like a horse's tail on the back.
Actually, it is. I think it's from one of his favorite horses that he's had. So this, you can feel the weight on this one too. That's a little bit even heavier.
Oh, it is. Well, I don't know how you guys do that.
Well, we do this because we really enjoy it. The time period, the working with the horses. It's really nice to ride out there, and in our modern day world of TV shows and movies, it's nice to ride out there and give the audience immediate satisfaction. And I have to admit, a lot of it is that we're all sort of little boys inside, and we like to get out there and play. So it's nice to get out there and please the children and everyone and give them a hero or a villain to cheer for.
And you're going to be doing that for our audience here in just a few minutes.
Certainly will.
No mercy!
Thank you, kind lady.
This night is receiving a favor from one of the ladies of the audience. No mercy! But earlier in the day, they had a joust of skill, and the Lord of Ravenwood, Sir Malcolm, began to cheat a bit and basically challenged Lord William, Lord of Whitehall, to a duel to the death. And that's what we're about to see now. They are now having their armoring ceremony.
Was awarded to William upon taking a vow of chastity. It is a vow he has taken many times.
I love the way the crowd participates in this. So they're good to go now, right?
Yes, they will cross lances. And as you can see, Sir Malcolm likes to play a bit dirty. Skill, once a man has become unhorsed, that would be the end of the contest. But since this is a duel to the death,
they keep going.
That's one of Sir Malcolm's henchmen. And I guess you can tell what the score is.
Wasn't that exciting? We hope you've enjoyed everything here at the Renaissance Fair, and we'll see you next week.